Good morning. Well, I'm back on the bike. Let's have an adventure. So hello, and it's hello from the Val de Safran. It's a greenway, a beer birdie. We've done it before. We're going to do it again because I was trying to think if I was going to do a showcase for the very, very best that this area has to offer, it has to include this greenway. It's going to include some big climbs. It's going to include a climb that Roman Bardet has got the King of the Mountains on, and another one that has my hero Thomas De Gendt has got the King of the Mountains on that one. But to get there we have to ride through some stunning scenery on this slightly gravelly greenway, but it's also going to include something I've ridden before, but it's so magnificent it's got to be done again. And it was the twistiest road that I'd ever been on, and I laughed all the way down because it was so ridiculously twisty. Val de Safran is a great greenway because it has lots and lots of tunnels. Oi, oi. Now, I'm not at my best, so we're going to be doing lots of stops. This is the least water I've ever seen in the Canalettes. We're in the middle of a very long drought. It's been going on for months and months and months. So I knew that the railway wasn't over for very long. It was only really finished by the political prisoners, the prisoners of war after the Civil War, that they got to use as slave labour. And that's how it finally got finished, this incredible route. I knew it was shut in 1973 because there was a tunnel collapse, and we'll see that in a minute. But what I didn't know is that the Spanish government were already thinking about closing all of the little railway lines because they were uneconomic. And it was actually on the advice of the World Bank in 1962. So they're already preparing to close it anyway, which is why, with one tunnel collapse, which always struck me they could have cleared with bulldozers in no time, instead they just closed it. This is number 7. It really is a spectacular gorge that we're going through. Now, this is the day that most of England is covered in snow. So I feel a little bit awkward. Not very. I feel a little bit awkward admitting that it's 23 degrees here. I'm in short sleeves and shorts. It's glorious, even though it's a little overcast. No big blue skies today. Another cyclist. Better crank up the speed before I overtake him. Blast past, like pretending I'm going a lot quicker than him. The old platforms. Well, they've got a fly free outside it. That's a good idea. Obviously not quite open yet. Oh, despite all of the solar panels outside this tunnel, there are no lights. This is danger. A tunnel without lights. Yeah, I think we can cope with that. Yeah, here we are. This is us coping. Well, we're in the Sierra Pandons. We've gone right into them. Happily, the Canalettes River cuts clean through it, and of course they made full use of that when they made the railway line. It's a car. Is he allowed on here, this bit? I don't think so. He's pulling over for me all the way up there. So just up ahead, the gorge gets absolutely precipitous, and it's possible to drop down to the river again, because at the bottom is, I think it's an old monastery perhaps. It's now sort of a getaway come spa, and it's a spa because the area is called Font Calder, which I'm sure you all know means hot springs. Now the downside is that it's incredibly steep to get down to. That's not a problem. What is a problem is the incredibly steep coming back up again. Tunnel viaduct at the moment. The landscape's getting bigger and bigger. I think it's supposed to be at something like 27 degrees. It's not cold. And there's this little pool. You get old folks here in the summer when the actual river itself is probably the same temperature, but they like to sit in this bit, have their feet in this bit. But the location of this place, that's the old convent monastery or whatever. And then you've got the river. Spectacular, isn't it? I mean, I'm going to have quite a nightmare just getting up that little slope again. I think it's 21%. So, I'll be pushing. So because people like to go to Fontcolder, this part of the Bardet is actually segregated so that cars can use it too. And now I'm very much torn. We're at the station of Bardet de Gendt, the meadow of the Count. The scenery around here is the best bit. It's just the best bit. And my plan was to climb up to Bardet on a main road, on a tarmac road. But I wasn't very good going up that last bit. It's nearly 5 kilometers long, an average of 5.6, tops out at 9. And once I get there, the only way home is then going up the Bardet climb, and I'm really torn because I can cut out both of those climbs by carrying on the Bardet and going straight to Bot. And I'm sorry, but that is what I'm going to do. Or I'll start the climb. I'll start the climb and then we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, if I can just get a nice view halfway up, that will do us, because I'm struggling already. I'm about 200 meters in. Well, I'm just remembering that the best views are, unsurprisingly, from the top. I'm about halfway up and it's lovely. But I've got this memory of the view and we've not had it yet. So it looks like we've got to go to the top of this climb. Excuse me. Sorry about that. It's a cheering scent. Almond blossom. Smells like honey. Oh, honey smells like almond blossom. My ears are popping because of the altitude gain, or rather they're not popping. Well, I've just changed the screen on my Garmin and it's saying that I've got another 7.12 kilometers to go. I'm having a breather. This is too much. Oh, I can't believe I'm even contemplating this, but I'm seriously thinking about turning round. So we need to get over this. I'll go on for a bit further once I've caught my breath, but I don't remember this road at all. I've only ever cycled down it, and that was years and years ago when we first got our Podenco dog, and she looked like a whippet, and we thought it'd be a great opportunity for her to spread her legs a little. So I rode with her down this hill and we topped off at about 50 kilometers an hour. I got footage of her running. It was absolute poetry in motion, and you could see she was yawning from time to time as she was stretching out. She go, "Oh, is that all you got?" Oh. Phenomenally fast dog that was. Unfortunately, when we got to the end of the ride, which is along the Bardet, I think it was 14 kilometers, she wasn't out of puff, but she had no pads left on her paws. Completely gone. Just blood. And I had not even begun to think about how damaging all of that running would have been on her little paws. Oh, we'd only had her about a month. First dog ever. Just didn't think, but you know, life is learning, isn't it? Right, I'm feeling a bit better, so onward and upward. That's the view I wanted. Well, not quite. Oh, light's just fallen off. Oh, I can't clear my ears because of the height. You can see this big lump on the left. That was the one that was way, way, way above us as we were climbing. If you look closely, you can actually see the road that we've come up. That's quite a climb. I'm quite impressed with myself with that. I think that's the top of that first one. Do I carry on and do Bardet? I just don't know. It's quite mountainous around here. This should just be dropping down into Bardet and De Gendt, I'm hoping. You can see the size of these buggers. That's the Ports Mountains. A little descent here. And then we've got to go over these mountains to the right. So this little town is famous for its liqueur making. I'm sure you remember. You faithful, you've seen them all. There. They make aguardiente. This little train. They are quite proud of the old railway line. They used to call it the tramway. Oh, that's pretty. That's probably pretty too. Oh, there's our road. Got to, look at it. It's begging for us, isn't it? We'll go for it. See what happens. This is the road that takes us to Horta if we carry on, which is also stunningly beautiful and where Picasso lived for a little while. Well, we're on it. I'm not sure it was a great idea. Absolutely incredible. I'm going to put you onto the handlebars because I do remember there are more twists on this road than any road I've ever known. Bardet here. I'm really tempted to get back on the Bardet because I've done the climbs that I intended. What it would mean is that we're missing out on a couple of cracking descents, but that twisty one, that might have been enough for me. And I can save myself for next week. To show you this place because not only is it a cellar so you can do wine tasting, it's also a museum of rural life, and if you happen to be in Bot, it's really worth a look. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful out here with the almond blossom out. It really is something else. I don't show you my bike very often, do I? Here it is. Here is the Rio Canalettes again, looking gorgeous. There's a little bat flying around here, middle of the day, very confused. So, we're on the segregated bit. We've got some beautiful bits to see in reverse, but you don't need me for that. I've introduced you to all of the wonders of this particular chunk of the Bardet. Massively recommend coming and riding it. The whole thing is 135 kilometers long, and that's if you don't include getting down onto the Ebro Delta as well, which is also stunning, and it has lots of bird hides and bespoke trails for cyclists. Honestly, this Bardet is incredible. If you ever wanted to get a loved one into cycling, and they've always been a bit reluctant, bring them here. I mean, I'm just seeing all sorts of, there's a lot of e-bikes on the Bardet. Like that one. Looks like a chopper, his hands were higher than his head. But it's such an easy ride. We're back at Benifayette station already. It's been a lovely ride. Apart from where that tunnel collapsed, it just feels flat. It feels flat cycling uphill. There's no real effort. and then going back down again, you just feel you're superhuman because you're flying along. Anyway, that's it for this week. Like I say, next week should be a whopper. I hope I'm up to it. I'm getting really fed up with all this silly nonsense, to be honest. Mucking about, doing little rides. Until then, thanks for watching.